wait, I'll tell you about it afterwards. And then they get a tiny bit of information. They've been in the doctors for however long and they get 1 minute's worth of explanation of what the doctor was saying. That's not equality. You know, if it's me going to the doctor, I'm the one who needs to understand what's happening. I'm the one who needs to understand what the doctor is saying. I need to be given full access to that information. You know, it could be a serious illness. It could be, I could have a heart disease or something that I need to know about. So we really need to establish better interpreting services, not rely on just the families of deaf people to try to fill the gap. So at the moment, mentioned I was teaching sign language at University of the West Indies. Another issue that happens is sometimes there might be information that's confidential, and so you have to have someone that you can rely on to provide interpreting services. And there might be certain things that a deaf person wouldn't want to discuss. Okay, finally. Employment and education. Meetings with, we need interpreters at schools. So, for example, when you have parents' meetings, at the moment what often happens is people call the Cascade School for the Deaf and ask someone to come and interpret for them. But then what happens? Then they go away and they're not teaching their children. And so they're not teaching the children at the school. And they're all many different kinds of situations in which an interpreter is needed, like job interviews. If people want to approach the Equal Opportunities Commission or the government, they often rely on sign language interpreting services. When there are emergency situations like hurricanes or storms, deaf people need to be informed of all of this information. When there's a curfew, so for example, you had to get in before 9 o'clock, and in the past when that happened, deaf people didn't know about it. They rely often on just their family telling them. But sometimes their family think, don't worry about that, they'll be fine. And then later, they come into contact with the police and they don't know what's going on. They didn't know that there was a curfew and this happened. So it's vital that public information is provided through the television with interpreting services so that it's accessible to all deaf people in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening, and I look forward to your questions later. Thank you, Ian. And our final presenter in the session is Dr. John Campbell of the University of the West Indies. And his presentation is on Article 9 of the Convention on Accessibility.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Do I look traumatized? Yes. I look like my heart is beating fast. Good afternoon. I'm not ready. My heart is beating fast. Again, let me tell you why. For most of you coming here wasn't a traumatic event. For me it was. In the car park, rough robberies, scooter drive, that is traumatic. Then, oh, there's the ramp, and the ramp is in place. Oh, but there's a little drop between the ramp and the car park. I hope my wheels can get across. Oh, where's my wife? Where's somebody? Right, good. Okay, stick close to me. And I get across. Then there is the chapel along the passageway, which nobody felt, was problematic. Oh, there's no handrails. That's okay. That's usually what happens. And coming up, the ramp itself, it's a little steep, but okay, no problem. And I'm in. So it's just a matter of me going behind the podium. I suspect it's on wheels. No. Anyway, I mean, I'm not in any way denigrating UWI. The issue this evening for me is on Article 9 accessibility. And I think, in a way, my journey here encapsulates, to some extent, the issues that people with disabilities face on a daily basis. I want to start off by saying that the articles themselves are clear, and many people today have spoken about it already. So I won't go through them in the limited time I have. But I want to draw the attention of the gathered audience to the issue of the importance of the state, or the reliance that the articles place on the state. And I want to twist it a bit. It says in Article 2C, well, of Article 9, the state is to provide training for stakeholders on accessibility issues facing persons with disabilities. The state can provide it, but do we want it? Let me tell you about Foucault. Foucault was a little theorist, but anyway, he looked at madness. And he said that mad people should not be just locked away in an asylum. And he said that, you know, within that, what we sane people call mad people, that there's some type of knowledge even there. And that we sane people deny ourselves of that knowledge when we just lock them up in an asylum. Yes. And he said, you know, we should go inside of there and communicate with them. And, you know, there's some knowledge which will enhance our lives as well when we interact with them. He broke, and he introduced this breaking of a dichotomy between what is an able-bodied person, what is a sane person, what is a differently abled person, what is an insane person. I did a convenience sample, a sampling of people who I could have accessed very easily. I asked them a simple question. First, how many of them took courses in the issues affecting persons with disabilities? None of them did. Then I asked if they would voluntarily, because they weren't compulsory, it wasn't part of their job requirement, that they had to do it. I asked them if they would voluntarily do it. No. Then, interestingly, the people added on, when we talked about added on, and said, listen, they looked at YouTube, they looked on the internet, etc. So they are pretty well qualified on the issues. Okay, with respect, they should apply for a job, having looked at something on YouTube. We need a culture willing or that want to be trained. It is not enough to simply say the articles exist, and it is not enough to simply say that the government should train people or that other organizations should train people. We need collectively as a society to change our culture, to want to be included in the training. Accessibility is an issue for differently abled people. I have fallen quite a few times on my scooter. I will quickly add that I have been assisted every time that I've fallen, but the hazards remain. consider Bob the Builder. He's building a ramp. He has seen a ramp before, but he has not seen its specifications. Probably doesn't know that there are specifications. I have backflipped off of ramps. Everything goes very, very slowly when you I have fallen off curbs and sideways, both on campus, off campus. Some people in there. And part, sometimes the reason is because able-bodied people parked in my spot, or able-bodied people parked halfway up on the curb, etc., creating issues.
Sure.
I've looked at the American Disabilities Act, which gives specifications for ramps, and I'm just using the example of the ramp. And I was amazed at how much specifications are given and how little goes into building these specifications, well, that I've encountered. And I've often asked myself, and I thank Jean especially for inviting me here and being a part of a group. How many disabled people or differently abled people, as we would say, are actually part of the planning committees and the institutionalized committees that put together amenities for disabled or differently abled people? You need that insight. If I was taken with the facilities management people on campus, around campus, I can quickly point out to them things that need to be improved or upgraded, etc. And it is difficult, and I'm not blaming in any way the people who try their very best, but it is difficult from the outside to look in and then to make a decision or to assist as well-meaning as you are. It is difficult to fully understand. You need people from within to be a part of that process.
Wait. 1 minute.
There's a basic issue with bathroom facilities, which I'm not going into. But let me say that whenever I go somewhere, I plan very, very carefully based on where the specific bathroom facilities are and those that I can use. So right now on campus, I can tell you where I will go or where I will not go, etc. And we have to do all of these planning. And this, this is part of my life now. I want to end as I started. And I started with the example of Foucault. And Foucault saying that, listen, let us not compartmentalize these people who we sane people call insane in institutions. Let us learn from them. Let us include them. Let us try to understand that knowledge, which is not ours, but which is different, but which holistically all of us share or should share in common. There is an example of a school that invited me to come to talk. Dr. Cato and I, we wrote the CXC A-level history text. And I did the usual thing and alerted them beforehand that I would need ramp access, etc., etc., etc. Sorry, we don't have it. And well, they expressed their sorrow that I couldn't make it again. But who lost out? The students lost out in that case because the person who wrote the book, who would have helped them, could not access them. It's a two-way thing. And until, as a culture, we learn to accept that we are not doing favors And we're not putting ourselves out. We are not doing something special, but that we are in fact enhancing all of our lives by making accessibility, which is an article in the Charter, by making accessibility part of our culture until we fully appreciate that we want to do that. Until that point, or when that point is reached, then our society will truly become a holistic. Thank you.
Thank you, John, and thank you to everyone. I'm slightly worried that I'm going to get in trouble with Jean if I allow questions now.
We need to have questions.
Good, okay, we will have questions. So Eileen is running around with the microphone. If you have a question. And while we're waiting for our first question, let's maybe just thank our panel again and remind ourselves who they are. So we have Shamla over there, we have John Campbell over here, Dhanoolal over there, we have Candice and Tessa, of course. So you have questions for any of those people or all of those people, far away.
My name is Thomas Hughes from the Seminary Adventist Church. I'm the person who's Bukara referred to. There's a four-letter word in English language. L-O-V-E. Love. And if we have